look like you playing me. This is safe to be thinking that you could ever get over on me. I'm a rebel of this game, so ain't no rules if you find me. Y'all a veteran in this industry. Y'all misdemeanors tell me smart, I'm new one.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your man, Next Icon, and y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what day it is. It is another Tuesday in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is the ICON Chronicles, and I am, as always, your illustrious host, the incomparable Next Icon. And for those that are unaware as to what that means that no excuses, I can overcome negativity. And it seems to be a whole lot of that seems to be going around lately. But we're going to try to not focus on that because guess what, y'all? This is the season finale of the third season for the ICON Chronicles. That's right, y'all. 36 episodes locked and loaded in the tank, and we finna do this the best way that we can. So let's get on with the basics. Y'all already know that I'm an author. I have 5 books out, soon to be 6. You can find those on www.lulu.com/spotlight/next icon, or you can look me up by my government name, which I don't give out very often, but I'm going to give it out today. It's Willie D. Davis IV. And you can find my books. There's Love for the Game, Books 1 and Book 2, Balls in My Word. There is the psychological thriller Brutal, and there are 2 poetry books, Confessions from the Flip Side of Love, Volumes 1 and Volume 2, and I'm actually in the process of putting together a Volume 3, as well as trying to complete my other book called Across the River, so y'all can check those out. You can also check out my music anywhere that you find music online. You see my name right there in the corner, look that name up, and I guarantee you that you will find something that you definitely like to hear, like to listen to, that will motivate you, make you move, make you think, make you do something. You know what I'm saying? So do yourself a favor and check that out. I'm also an actor, and I am appearing in a few projects. I will be coming up in the movie Love in Atlanta. I have a movie that's coming out called um, oh, Friends Like Sisters. I'm also a recurring person in the web series Moshe, a recurring character in Atlanta's Ugly, and I have just signed on for 2 more roles in 2 stage plays that will be coming up soon. So stay tuned and pay attention. After this episode, I will be taking 2 weeks off to reflect, regroup, and recuperate to get ready for season 4. Season 4 is going to be live because I'm definitely looking for some people that want to come on and be interviewed and talk about what it is that you're doing out here, to motivate the people, to inspire the people, and to just promote yourself so that everybody knows that you exist. Because if no one knows that you exist, then you don't. So, quick shout out to TBC Cleaning, the best choice cleaning services. If you want the best job done, they are your best choice. Do not just make a choice, make the best choice. TBC Cleaning, located right here in Atlanta, Georgia. They specialize in foreclosure and eviction cleaning, but they do also clean attics, garages, and basements, or cellars, or whatever that y'all want to call them if you have them. TBC Cleaning is the place to contact, and they will do you right. So make sure that you give them a call at 404-919-3671. Again, don't just make a choice, make the best choice. Now, I have a single that was just released not too long ago, July 5th, I believe it was, called Let the Sunshine. Do yourself a favor and check that out and let me know what you think. I have another single coming up sometime this month. Trying to look at August 15th, and maybe a little bit later than that because I'm still in the studio trying to figure out which one I want to release and trying to decide what type of mood that I'm trying to set with the next release. I did get a suggestion from my man, my cousin, my DJ DJ Mikey Mike, who is currently in Arizona, and he said to put out something hard, so I might just go ahead and do that. What else is there to tell y'all? Oh, we lost some heavy hitters this week, y'all. We lost Paul Sorvino this week. We lost Bill Russell this week. We lost Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. Hey, everybody's getting up out of here, y'all. My condolences to those. To my boy Michael Anthony, who lost, I believe it was his uncle. Uh, Condolences to you, bro. Condolences to everybody that I know that has lost somebody that was special in their lives. Look, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt for a while, but just remember the impact that they left on you while they were here, and let that memory motivate and inspire you to make sure that you leave a legacy of your own before you leave up out of here, because everybody knows that tomorrow is not promised. Anyway, we finna get this party started. This is the season finale of the ICON Chronicles, and what we finna do, well, what I'm finna do, before I go into my little spiel today, I have, because this is the season finale, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about today. I have a few subjects in my mind, but I don't know. I don't know if y'all ready for that yet. So, while I decide to make my mind up, if I can get my little devices over here to work for me instead of to work against me, what I'm going to do while I work on getting my mind right is I'm going to play a song for y'all that I wrote a few years ago called Shorty Got That Booty. Y'all check it out, and I will be right back. an exact, how can I put this? An exact toxic situation. And because I did not have my video um, on StreamYard and on Facebook, I'm going to go back and reiterate what I just said. So, 5 months ago, I met a young lady online. And when I met her, everything seemed like it was nice. Everything seemed like it was good. And I kind of thought that this was going to be, well, either way, it was going to be my last relationship because I had set a goal and I set a time frame. And because that time frame has not been reached, I have decided to forego that goal. But I thought that I was at the point where that search was going to be over and things were going to progress. Well, again, women have this standard that a man must have a house, a man must or some place to live, he must have a car, he must have a job. Well, men also want the same thing from women because that's the only way to grow and to progress is both of you working together to build. I had a financial goal that I wanted to do with a partner, but I was never able to do that, so I had to start that by myself. Now, as I said earlier, I've only been with two women in my life that have not had a job and that I had to fight with and argue with and fuss with about getting a job and about contributing. Now, and I also did state that this woman, she did bring food in here a couple times. But the fact of the matter is that to be around me, I have a certain standard. And one of those standards is that you have to have a job. You have to be able to contribute. Fourth month of this roller coaster of a relationship, if this is what you want to call it, the light goes on, and this person finally decides that they need to get themselves together. They finally want to decide that they want to work. They've been running out of fear from a relationship because it's something that they've never experienced before, and so et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and so on and so forth. Well, the 3 months prior did nothing but create distance, isolation, and a sense of lost feeling because you have no idea what to give because you've never been given anything to give. Energy is transferable, whether it's good energy or whether it's bad energy, it is transferable. But what is also constant is that you can drain yourself putting your energy into someone that is not giving that energy back. And this is at the point where I was drained because I had nothing to give. So now we're at the point where everything is toxic. Everything is now a confrontation. Everything is now a conflict. Everything is now a verbal threat, text messages back and forth. And let's just say that at some point in time, you come to the conclusion that enough is enough. You come to the conclusion that this is not going anywhere, and it's time that everybody goes their own direction before things get to a point of no return. And I've been more than patient. I've been more than tolerant. I've suffered a bunch of things through this whole journey, and I have nothing to show for it. So I decided that it was time to walk away. It was time to let it go, time to move on. Well, because I made this decision, I am forced now to take this person to court in order to get them to leave my apartment that, number one, they're not on the lease. They have paid nothing towards a bill. They've run up my bills. They've contributed to running up my bills. Let me put it that way. They've contributed to running up my bills, but they've offered nothing in return. So now we're at the point now that we're making court threats. It's like I've been here before. I had to go through this with when I got divorced a long time ago. So when you start realizing the toxicity that is coming into your environment, it's time to give it up. It's time to walk away. It's time to close the chapter on that subject and move on. I've come to the conclusion that it's time for me to move on. As far as relationships go, I never thought that I would be the one to say this, but it's not new to me. But I think at this point in time that I'm done with relationships, because my view of relationships and how they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to work and how they're supposed to operate in order to be functional, in order to be progressive, in order for them to grow, no one has that concept anymore. Um, the sense of dedication and commitment is gone. Everybody has their hand out for something, but nobody wants to work for what it is that they want. And the ones that do work for what they want are burned out to the point because they've put so much into it to make it work that they have nothing left to give. This creates a toxic environment, makes both people toxic individuals. And somebody has to be the adult. Somebody has to be the grown person to say, you know what, this is not working. We are not good for each other. We need to go our separate ways. We need space. We need to do something different because this is not going anywhere. I've been that person to say that because I'm a progressive person. And I hate the feeling of no growth, of no progress. I hate the feeling of again, this roller coaster started 5 months ago. And 5 months later, you're still on page one of the roller coaster. Like you're stuck at the top. You're in a roller coaster and you're at the top and you're waiting to go down the hill to see what's next, and you're stuck. You can't go backwards. It can't go forward. You're stuck. This is what this whole journey has been like. And yes, I'm being very personal about this because I'm not the only person that goes through these things. But at some point in time, you have to rock that roller coaster and you have to make it go forward. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cut off a few of those cars and leave them behind so that you can move forward and progress. Now, there's a saying that when you grow, that you can't take everybody with you. And this is true. And sometimes the person that you think is the best for you is not the best for you, and you have to leave them behind. You have to move on with your life. You have to close the chapter and you have to move on and what's in the next chapter. My goal was, it has been for the last 20 years. I got divorced in 2004. My goal was to get my ring back. And it's been 20 years. It'll be 20 years and 2 more years. It'll be 20 years that I've been trying to get my ring back. And I'm at the point now that it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get my ring back. I'm not going to be a husband again. I'm just going to have to let that go. But in letting that go, because of the way that I live my life, it also means that I can't do relationships. That's the life that I lead. And the way that I live my life, a lot of people don't understand. They're confused by it. They don't get it. And I can't really explain it, because the only way that it would make sense is for you to go back into my past and walk the path that I walked. But even if you did, the path would not be the same. The end result may not be the same as mine is. I'm just at the point now that I don't have any more time for a relationship. And maybe that has been my issue. Maybe that has been my fault in all of this, is the fact that I've been looking instead of just letting it come. Because I know what I want. I know what I'm worth. I know what my value is, and no one else seems to recognize it. And because I know what I want, and because I have set these standards, what happens is, again, I've said this before, is that what you put into the universe, you get tested. I've put this out into the universe, and I'm constantly being tested to see if I'm going to break down on my standards. Am I going to compromise my standards of what I believe in? Am I going to sacrifice my value and my worth just to be with somebody? And I'm not willing to do that. I've come too far to allow myself to go back to settling for what's not good for me, when I know that I deserve more, when I know that I deserve better. And people, once you come to that realization, that you deserve more and that you deserve better and that you're worth more and that there's people around you that don't understand that value, that they don't see that value, they don't want to see your worth, that they want to chip at it and think that they're going to get a discount, those people you have to cut loose and let them go. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be in the same position that I'm in right now, in a toxic environment that is not beneficial to either party. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the trials. It's not worth the tribulations. It's not worth the pain. It's not worth the aggravation. It's not worth the frustration. Walk away and let it go. If there is something out here that is for you, it will find you. We keep messing up the program by trying to make things work for us the way that we want it to work. And this is not the way that this world works. And I think that I've been circumventing the program because I've been looking for my mate. And everyone that I've met that I thought was my mate has been a disappointment. It's been a letdown. And I'm trying my best to not give up on the aspect of love, believing in love, feeling love, being in love. I'm trying to not let that go because the alternative to that makes you a cold-hearted individual. No empathy, no compassion. And I don't want to be that person. I'm not trying to be that person. But where I'm at right now, I can't go back. I can only go forward. And as I said, you come to a point where you have to cut people off. You don't want to, you don't want to have to, but when you get close to becoming enemies to each other, when you come to the point where words hurt, words sting, and I am one of the kings of stinging people. When I tell you that I am 100% full-bred Scorpio, yes, I am, and I will sting you. I have no mercy. It's nothing. It's personal, but it's not. But it is what it is. And if I have to really be that person, if I allow you to turn me into that individual, then you win. And I can't let you win. If I can't treat you the way that I want to treat you and that I believe that you should be treated, and if I can't give you what I know is in me to give you, genuinely, honestly, then I have to walk away from you. Sometimes the hardest thing about loving somebody and the hardest thing about being in love with somebody is having to let them go. There's a song by Sting. He used to be with the Police. It's called When You Love Somebody. And it's really based off of a poem. It says, when you love somebody, if you love somebody, set them free. If they return to you, then they're yours to keep. But if they don't, they were never meant to be. Sting turned that into a song called When You Love Somebody. And that's one of the main hooks in that song is if you love somebody, if you really care for someone, set them free. There's too many people out here that are committing suicide. Well, let's say committing murder suicides because the relationship didn't work out, because it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go. It's not worth it. Just walk away. There are people out here that at the end of the day, you're just not meant to be together. And you just have to come to that realization. It's a hard reality to face. It's a hard decision to make, but it's one that has to be made. And again, somebody has to be the adult to make that decision. What happens when you're in a toxic situation is that no matter how you try to keep it bottled up, no matter how hard you try to keep it behind closed doors, no matter how much you try to keep it out of the public eye, it will still find its way to work its way into the limelight. What's the saying? What's kept in the dark eventually comes to the light. That's what happens. Because there's always going to be some incident. There's always going to be some catalyst. There's always going to be some crisis that's going to make that toxicity spoil over out of the and it's going to affect and it's going to infect everybody, and everybody's going to have a say so. Everybody's going to have a judgment. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have something about what you should do and what they should do and how it should be done. And walk away. Cut your ties. Let it go. Don't be in the situation that I'm in. It should be easy, and it's not. I have a lot of love in my heart. I have a lot of love in my spirit. I have a lot of love in my soul. But nobody seems to know how to treat them right in order to get them, to get that love. Everybody has conditions. Everybody has strings. Everybody has some kind of thing that you got to give up, that you have to sacrifice, that you have to compromise. I'm not a compromiser. I'm not a settler. I settled when I was young. I settled when I was out here in these streets doing what I had to do to make it. Then I settled. But in doing that settling and in walking that path, I learned what it is that I wanted. I learned what it was that made me feel like me. I learned what it was that made me happy. And that was having that one person to come home to. Now, there's men out here that they can't stay with one woman. They don't know how to. You can call it heredity. You can call it playerism. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But there are some men out here that have no concept of what it means to be with one woman, to wake up with one woman, to love one woman, to be honoring to one woman, to cherish one woman. Know that some of these guys have never been taught that, and they don't, and some of them don't want to learn that. But then y'all get a man that's exactly what he's looking for, and y'all don't know how to act because y'all are so used, y'all are so programmed, y'all are so damaged to accept these men that are out for themselves. See, I have a concept for relationships. You have two levels. You have I, me, and mine, and you have us, we, and ours. The I, me, mine people, they're only focused and they're only considerate of themselves, what I can get for me, so that it's mine and mine only. Selfishness, egocentric, self-gratuitous. Then you have the flip side of the I, me, mine. You have the us, we, ours. And those are the people that they're doing things for us so that we can have our future. The toxicity starts when you try to combine an I, me, mine personality with a us, we, ours personality. Because a us, we, ours personality is inclusive. I, me, mine personality is singular. And you cannot mix the two. I've lived my life as an us, we, ours personality, and I have been forced to be an I, me, mine entity, which is causing a conflict within me because that is not my lifestyle. That is not the way that I live. That's not the way that I operate. It's not the way that I work. Everything about me has been about togetherness and growing together. But it's lost. It's lost in this world of misogyny and what is it? Polygamy, and what's the other word? The polymorous. I think is what it's called. Polyamorous relationships. Nobody, nobody wants to be committed anymore. Everybody wants to get married, but they still want to play. They want to be in a relationship, but they want to play. You cannot do that. You either all in or you all out. When you get married, you take a vow, you make a covenant to God, not just to your mate. You make a covenant with God that this is going to be the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. That's why it says in the vows, till death do us part. You're committing yourself to that person. You can't commit yourself to somebody if you're an I, me, mine personality because it's all about you. It's all about what you want. It's all about how you want it. It's all about what you want it to be. And nobody else has any say so. Nobody else has any decisions in it. You cannot be that in an us, we, ours mind state. It creates drama. It creates chaos. It creates conflict. When you force somebody, either way, if you force somebody that's an I, me, mine personality to be a us, we, ours personality, or you force an us, we, ours personality to be an I, me, mine personality, you're causing conflict in that individual because they don't know how to be the other one. And they're trying to fit in it and they don't. They can't. This is the position where I'm at, is trying to figure out how to be I, me, us, ours, we, all at the same time. And it is not possible. And because of that, it causes a conflict within me that causes me to emotionally shut down, to physically be disconnected, to be spiritually drained, to be energy taxed because I'm putting energy into trying to be something that is not me. So what do? As I've been saying, you walk away. Because anything that forces you to compromise yourself, anything that puts you in a position where you're losing yourself, where you're losing contact with yourself, who you are, how you need to run the hell away from that situation as fast as you can and get as far away from it as you can before you get sucked into the deprivation and the degradation of something that you aren't. Relationships are about togetherness. Relationships are about learning each other. And in this situation that I was in, it made like to some people it sounds crazy, but I say that the first 30 days of a new relationship are the most critical because that is when class starts to learn your mate. And if you miss classes, then you miss learning and understanding and figuring out what your boundaries are and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. You miss all of that when you are absent in that first 30 days of the relationship. That's when you are in class and you're supposed to be taking notes, not in the back room smoking weed, not at the pool hall trying to place bets. If you are serious about being in a relationship, if you're serious about progressing to the next level of a relationship, if you are 100% sure that this is what you want, time is critical. It's an investment in your future that you said that you wanted. And if you are not willing to invest in it, if you are not willing to put the time in it, if you're not willing to put the work in for it, don't complain about what you're not getting on the return side. You're in no position to complain. You're in no position to say anything because you're not doing your due diligence. You're not putting in your effort. You're not putting in your time because you're too busy skipping class trying to hang with the homies that's also skipping class. That's why they stuff ain't working. Now, the person, the us, we, ours person that is stuck in that position, they have one of two choices. They can either continue to accept it or they can turn around and walk away. When they turn around and walk away, they get the guilt trips. They get the extra drama, the extra conflict. It's not worth it. As two adults that clearly see that your relationship is not going anywhere, that your relationship is not working, that you are not seeing eye to eye with your mate, that there is no progress, it's time to let it go. It's time to walk away with your head up high, with your chest out, and either whether you are an I, me, mine personality or us, we, ours personality, at the end of the day, once you walk away and you come to that conclusion, at the end of the day, you can say that you tried. That's all that you can do. Two I, me, mine people, they're not going to work. Two us, we, ours people, it's going to work because they're about us. They're about we. They're about ours. They're about working together. They're about learning each other on a daily basis, on a constant basis. Isn't it? When you in a relationship, the learning doesn't stop. It does not stop until death do you part. If it goes that far. To me, that is my goal. It's always been my goal. But where I'm at right now, I'm just seeing that it may not be possible in this lifetime. I had my one shot at being married. We both messed up. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was my one and only time to shine, and I screwed it up. I blew it. But it sucks. And it hurts when you come to that realization that things are over. Even if you are emotionally detached, there is still a feeling of hurt and pain when it's over. Because it's like, damn, do I start over again? Do I want to put myself in this situation again? Is it worth putting myself in this situation again? You have a million questions running in your mind. And very few of those questions have answers. Relationships, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as a perfect husband. There's no such thing as a perfect wife. There's no such thing as a perfect couple. There is no perfection. People go into these relationships and these marriages blindly, that they'll never be hurt, that they'll never feel they'll never be sad, that they'll never cry, that they're going there with a bunch of nevers. Those are empty promises. Any relationship is going to have issues. Any relationship is going to have a problem. You sign up for that when you get into a relationship. You made a conscious decision and you chose to accept the consequences of whatever came with that decision. What else can you do? Unless you put yourself in the middle of nowhere, where there's no people around you, where you have no human contact at all, you're not going to be able to avoid it. And even then, you still may not. Because at some point in time, you're going to crave a human entity. You're going to crave for somebody to talk to. You're going to crave for somebody to hear you when you scream in the middle of the woods, where you're going to find out that if nobody's in the woods, does a tree make a sound? And you still don't know if it makes a sound because you're too busy screaming. Love hurts, y'all. Love hurts, and it hurts like hell. It hurts when it's time to say goodbye. It's hurt. It hurts when you come to the realization that it's over. It hurts when you come to realize that y'all are not as connected as you thought that you were or that you wanted to be. But you have to face the reality. You have to deal with the reality. Together, you're both toxic. Together, it's like oil and water. It's a hard reality to face, but it's inevitable that you have to face it. You can run, you can try and hide, but it's inevitable. You can't avoid it. You may be able to delay it for a little while. You may be able to ignore it for a little while. You may be able to sleep it under the rug for a little while, but it won't stay long. Nobody wants to be hurt in a relationship. But unfortunately, that's one of the prices that you pay. It's one of the crosses to bear when you're in a relationship. Again, the situation that I'm in, I'm forced to have to go to court now to get this person out of my life. And it shouldn't come to that. It shouldn't have to come to that. But this is where it's at. If you're not going to be a part of the solution, then you're a part of the problem. And sometimes getting rid of the problem, actually a lot of times, get rid of the problem is the solution. And sometimes it may be you. I mean, it could be me. Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe because I refuse to settle, because I know what it is that I want and I can't settle for less. And I'm breaking the rules by standing my ground. Because I refuse to settle for less than what I want. I've done that. I've been there. Once you know your worth, once you understand the value that you have within you, you will stop giving people discounts. You will stop putting yourself on sale like you on the clearance rack at Walmart. But you have to find that and understand that within you. And when you do, you're going to rub some people the wrong way. You're going to put some people in their feelings. They're gonna think that you done got bougie, that you done got uppity, that you think that you're better than everybody else because you've reached this imaginary upper echelon of existence. My problem told me that because I got a promotion on my job and that I'm balling, that my attitude has changed. Money doesn't make me. Money doesn't define me. Yes, I have a job. Yes, I got a promotion. Yes, with that promotion there came a raise. But unless they was giving me $100,000 raise, I don't see where I'm balling. I don't see where my attitude need to change. I don't work like that. And it's an insult for somebody to even insinuate such a thing on me. Because it's clear that you never took the time to learn me or to understand me. Or else such a comment would never come out of your mouth or from your fingers in a text message. But again, once you turn toxic, it's hard to go back to being regular. So you have to let things go. You have to close that chapter, pick up your pen, turn the page, start a whole new chapter. And hopefully, the way that you write this chapter will be better than the last chapter. If it's not working, y'all let it go. If it's not working, walk away. There's nothing to feel bad about. There's nothing to feel ashamed of. It happens. People grow. Some people don't grow. Some people grow apart. They do grow, but one is growing to the left, one is growing to the right. It happens. It's a part of life. It is what it is. You come from two different worlds and you're trying to mesh both worlds together. There's going to be a conflict. There's going to be an issue. There's going to be a problem. And not every problem is going to be able to be worked out. Some of them problems, the only way that they're going to be worked out is to go your own way. Use it as a lesson. It's not easy. This journey is not easy. The position that I'm in is not easy because it's forcing me to be a way that I'm not used to, that I don't like being. But I have to set myself free. I have to set myself free before I become toxic, before I become bitter, before I become hurt, before I become, well, I can't say before I become damaged because in reality, we all are damaged. We've all been hurt by somebody. But instead of dwelling and rolling around in what happened to me in my past, I choose to let it motivate me to be a better person. I don't give them the power over me to dictate how I'm going to live my life. Some of us haven't learned how to do that. You're still walking around with the trauma and the hurt and the pain and the transgressions that you suffered in your past, and you are scared to let it go. But how can you live if you can't let it go? People are walking around here surviving instead of living. I've been a survivor, but now I'm living. And if you ain't living with me, then I got to do my living without you. It's that simple. But it shouldn't be a fight. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be conflict. It doesn't have to be. But unfortunately for me, in my situation, this is where I am. And because I'm forced into this position, this is going to stay with me for a while because I've never had to go through this before with anybody. But here I am, and here we are. The roller coaster has dipped over the hill, and it's coming down. It's made its round. It's coming back to the landing platform. And once it gets to that landing platform and it rolls to a stop, everybody's going to have to get off. And everybody's going to have to go their own way. Now, I try to not make this, uh, emotional type thing, but I'm learning in doing this show that it helps me to get some of this stuff out of my system because a lot of the things that I talk about, some of them are based on things that I see on social media. Some of them are things I see and hear about in the world. A lot of it is personal experience. And usually I keep all of that stuff inside. But I'm learning, and this show has been helping me to face it, to realize it, to analyze it, and to deal with it. Now, I may have a change of heart about what I'm considering doing. I may not. But the one thing that I do know is that I can't continue to be in a toxic environment. And if you're smart, you won't stay in your toxic environment. Think about it. But my time is about up. This is the season finale of season 3 of the ICON Chronicles. Again, I will be back in 2 weeks for season 4, and I will be looking to have some very, very, very special guests. So y'all have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your life. Walk away from toxicity and grow. This is your man, Next Icon. No excuses. I can overcome negativity. And I am about to sign off from the ICON Chronicles. Thank y'all for tuning in to the season finale. I will see y'all the next round. Peace.